Hello and welcome to Nerdpool News. My name is Johnny and welcome to our brand new weekly show where we discuss all the latest reveals and pre-orders that went up for statues and figures this week, as well as some other hot topics coming around in the news this week, such as this week, the premiere of Loki. So let's jump straight into it. Now, obviously, the first thing we want to do is we want to talk about Loki. The first episode did drop on Wednesday this week. And, if you haven't seen it, there may be some spoilers ahead, so maybe just skip ahead this part. But honestly, I was a little bit underwhelmed by the episode. I thought, it's setting up a lot. I think it's cool the fact that they're using that original Avengers version of Loki as opposed to the later versions that we got. And it was good to see that sort of character development of him in such a quick time, just by seeing those snapshots of his life there in the TVA. But it did feel like it was lacking something. It wasn't the most action-packed. It wasn't the most over-the-top crazy for a first episode, but it definitely sets up for more. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what we get from it. And I'm interested to see what you guys think of that first episode, whether or not you are excited to see what more comes from it, whether or not you thought that first episode, similar to me, was just that little bit lackluster. So now we're going to move on to the statues and figures. Now, I really wanted to start doing these videos on a quiet week. And I thought this week was a quiet week until I started doing the research and found out that there's a lot of stuff that's been announced and revealed and shown off this week. So we've got a lot to cover. But before we jump into that, I have just started doing this. It would be really cool if you guys like the video. If you do like the video, give the video a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing, because I'm going to be doing more of this, and I apologize that I'm really janky at the moment. It's been a long time since I've made a video. Anyways, let's get into it. The first thing we want to talk about is Hot Toys Collectibles. Now, they haven't really released anything new. What they've actually done is they've reissued the quarter scale Mark 42, which is from Iron Man 3. I mean, it looks amazing. It's a brilliant looking armor. It comes with battle damaged parts as well as clean parts, so you can display it whichever way you want. But it is, of course, a reissue of something that we already had in the past, which I think for new collectors, which I would consider myself somewhat of a new collector, it's cool to be able to have this option of newer stuff. Now we're going to move on to the statues, and we're going to start off with the main perpetrator of all of the major news this week, and that was Queen Studios. So the first thing we want to talk about from Queen Studios, their 1/3 scale Catwoman on the Batpod. It just announced this literally today. I'm filming this Friday afternoon. Oh my god, that thing looks amazing. And it's 1/3 scale, so it's going to be absolutely massive. So, this thing's going to probably run you probably about $2,000, maybe $3,000. This is gonna be an expensive figure, but it's definitely gonna be something that's gonna take pride of place in somebody's Batman collection. And if, like me, you A, like the space and B, like the money, they have said they are gonna be working on a 1/6 scale in the future. That's probably gonna come, and that's probably gonna be a lot more cost friendly and space friendly. As well, from them, they have been counting down to Wonderfest. They've been doing their sort of daily countdowns of new stuff. One of the things they unveiled was a Darkseid statue from, of course, Zack Snyder's Justice League. They haven't announced the scale for it, and from the picture, it looks like it's completely and utterly unpainted. Although, Darkseid's a pretty dark character. I actually thought it was painted to start with, because he's basically just grey. But, I know a lot of people loved Zack Snyder's Justice League, and, I think this is going to be an amazing one for somebody's collection if they're interested in getting something like that. They also showed off an insane-looking 1/4 scale Hulkbuster. Now, this thing is absolutely massive, super detailed, as is the Hulkbuster himself. No price announced. He looks huge. I think even at quarter scale, he's probably gonna, be about 40, 50 inches tall. By the looks of how it looks compared to other statues that they've got there, he's definitely gonna be a big guy, and he's definitely gonna cost a lot of money when it comes down to it. They also showed off their quarter scale Mark 43, which goes along with their Hulkbuster. Obviously, both of those are from Age of Ultron. Again, it looks really good. It's Iron Man. There's no real sort of artistic interpretation on these. It's just how you see it in the film is what you're getting. So if you like that Iron Man Mark 43 design, that's a cool statue for you. We also got an announcement of this insane life-size Balrog. I'm assuming it's a bust. And I would assume it's not actually life-size, but because, Balrog is gigantic, and I don't think you'd ever fit it in any room. But it is a very, very, very large bust that we've got, and just it looks insane. I think there was some pictures a while back of it painted up, and it had like the orange in its mouth, like it's about to breathe fire. It looked amazing. Also got a Mark 7 Iron Man life-size bust. This one I think is coming up for pre-order within the next couple of days. No price announced for it yet, but again, you know, I would assume this is probably going to set you back around $2,000. Maybe a little bit more because it's Iron Man. I can't remember what exactly the other Iron Man busts they've done have gone for, but you know, it's a life-size bust of Iron Man. It's going to be expensive. They also showed off this unpainted prototype of a 1/4 scale Wonder Woman from Wonder Woman 84 in the Golden Eagle armor. Now, I watched the film, thought it was terrible, didn't like the armor. The armor really wasn't used long enough in the film, especially when it had the wings on it. This is a no-go for me, but I'm sure there's probably plenty of Wonder Woman fans out there that are probably going to really like this. They've got a life-size Darkseid bust. Now that was, I think, is literally on display now at this convention they've got going on, because this picture I've got is stood next to a regular-sized person, and this thing is massive. It is incredibly huge, but you know, we know the Queen Studios aren't afraid to do those kind of things, because they did that with that Thanos bust, and they've done a Hulk bust. You know, they're not afraid to make gigantic busts. And again, you know, it just because of the size, this is going to set you back a lot of money. I think Thanos was like $3,500–$4,000. I would imagine this is probably going to fit somewhere in that ballpark as well. And then we got a final reveal, which actually I think got revealed directly from Batman Statue Collector on his Rogues Gallery live event. And this was this incredibly huge quarter-scale Batman on throne. Now, I think it actually looks really good. I think it looks amazing. I think the details on the throne are awesome. I think Batman himself looks great. This is from apparently Dark Knight's Metal. I think this is a cover because I don't think this was the suit that he used actually in the Dark Knight's Metal storyline. But I do have one issue with it, and that is the fact that the base doesn't really exactly scream Batman to me. The whole throne that he's sat on doesn't really tell a story of Batman to me. I think you could take Batman off that and stick maybe a character from Dark Souls on there, and nobody would question it. Okay, now moving on to XM Studios. Now, I don't think they put anything up for pre-order this week, but they did give us a bunch of reveals. There was a bunch of new announcements and stuff, but I'm not going to cover the announcements here until we actually see some sort of physical product. But we did get teasers of their quarter-scale Batman Who Laughs. I think this one was revealed a little while back, and then I think they went back and they tweaked it. It looks amazing. It looks really cool. He's got these massive wings on him. He's got the 3 robins around him. It's definitely a good alternative. If you because I'd say you've probably got, you know, the Batman Who Laughs from Prime 1. That's probably your top tier, because it's 1/3 scale. It's massive. It's going to be really expensive. You've got your more affordable, I would class more affordable, quarter scale version from Sideshow. And then I think this is probably going to sit somewhere in the middle of these, because the Sideshow version is a little bit more basic, although it still, you know, screams Batman Who Laughs to me. Still exactly who he is. And then you've got Prime Studios, which is just obviously massive. It's got the multiple robins around him and all the chains and everything like this. I think this one being a quarter scale version of a similar, he's in a different pose. He's still got the robins around him. He's got those massive wings, cape, whatever it is. I think this is going to sit somewhere in the middle of those with the price point as well. We also got the reveal of the Samurai Scarecrow from their Samurai Batman line. I think this looks really cool. It's a really cool concept and a really cool design that they've got for him. And I think he'll look amazing next to other characters in that Samurai lineup. The only problem I have with that, really, is I think if it wasn't with other statues from that line, I think you would have to explain to people who that is, and that it's supposed to be a samurai version of Scarecrow. Obviously, other than, you know, the bag over his face and the bat on the base, it doesn't really scream Scarecrow. It's got a couple of alternate portraits, which I think I think that the helmeted one makes him look a little bit more like Scarecrow as opposed to the straw hat version. But I still don't think really it screams Batman villain Scarecrow to me. They did show off 2 versions of a Wonder Woman diorama, which that's coming off the popularity of the Batman Sanity, which is obviously Batman surrounded by all of his villains. This one is a similar situation. It's Wonder Woman fighting all of her villains. I think it looks nice. I think some of the villains are a little bit difficult to see. Some of them are tucked around the back, and obviously a lot of them are facing her, so you can only see really her back or their sides. yeah, I think it's a really good looking statue. I don't think it's going to do as well as the Batman Sanity, just simply for the fact that unless you're a die-hard Wonder Woman fan, these characters and these villains that are on there are not as widely popular as Batman's villains are. So you're probably going to have to go, you know, I can point at that and go, well, there's Cheetah and there's Ares, but as somebody who doesn't read a lot of Wonder Woman, I have no idea who the other guys are. But obviously we did get two versions. There's one which is fully painted, even the villains are painted, everything like that, and then carrying on from how the Batman Sanity line was done, there is a version where it's got that, all of the villains have got that white sort of stone marble statue look to them. You know, I think it's just a case of pick your fancy. Both of these are going to set you back a considerable amount of money. And I think this is something that if you're a die-hard Wonder Woman fan, this is going to be a centerpiece in somebody's collection. And XM also gave us a tease of their Supergirl upcoming quarter-scale statue. It's a Supergirl statue. We've had quite a few Supergirl statues in the past. I don't know if XM Studios has done a Supergirl. I don't think they have, especially not quarter scale, because they've only just recently got the quarter scale license. But it's interesting to see them do them. I'd be interested to see what it looks like when we get the full reveal with the base and everything like that. Whether it's going to kind of fit in with the same and have like the clouds and maybe, you know, a cat or whatever. You know, there's similar typical things we get from Supergirl statues. So moving on from XM Studios, we've got Paramount Studios. They actually put stuff up for pre-order this week. Basically, other than Hot Toys, everything I've listed so far, they were just reveals. Nothing's been put up for pre-order. But Paramount Studios actually put two statues up for pre-order this week. One is their 1/3 scale Linda Carter Wonder Woman, which maybe it's just me. I didn't grow up watching that version of Wonder Woman, but it doesn't do anything for me. It's a pretty plain, basic kind of statue that I wouldn't actually expect Paramount to do. That's the kind of statue that I kind of would think that's something that Sideshow would do. You know, because they've done their Christopher Reeve Superman and stuff like that. It kind of has that same feel to me. Yeah, okay, you've got the cape, and I think it looks really detailed. But yeah, if you're into that version of Wonder Woman, then yeah, good for you. This statue is going to set you back $1,300. So it's not cheap, $1,300 for it. Plus, obviously, you've got to get it shipped if you buy directly from Paramount Studios or wait until Sideshow put it up on their website. It's about 70 centimeters tall. Not sure what that is in inches. I just went off what was written on their site. But it's a Linda Carter Wonder Woman statue. So yeah, if you're into that, brilliant. But they did also show off one that I think looks really, really cool. And that's the Evangelion, I think I'm saying that right, Evangelion 13. I think this is a complete concept from Josh Neesey. This is one of those animes that I've never watched, always been told it's amazing. I've never actually got the chance to sit down and watch it, but every time I see Paramount Studios do one of these statues, they release a new statue for this license, a new statue from this line, it makes me want to go and watch it. It makes me want to go and learn what's going on with these, because these things just look incredible. Paramount Studios have done such a good job creating these statues. They just, I mean, I don't think anybody else can even attempt to make a statue anywhere near as cool as what Paramount Studios are doing with this license. At least not officially licensed anyways. But that guy is going to run you back about $1,600. And like I said, the Linda Carter is 70 centimeters tall. The Evangelion 13 is actually 80 centimeters tall. So he's a little bit taller. He's probably, what's that, you know, 3 inches taller? He's a little, you know, he's a bit bigger. We also got first of the figures. You know, at the time of me recording this video, they're about to do their live stream to fully reveal their Ed and Ein from Cowboy Bebop. Again, it's another anime that I've never actually sat and watched. But yeah, they've already released, I think, 3 characters from that lineup. And I think this is kind of the last one to fill out the team, as far as I'm aware. Like I said, I don't have a price for that. It does go up for pre-order, I think, tonight. But the live stream reveal has to come first before any final sort of details are announced. But we did get the PVC figure of the Dark Souls super deformed Great Grey Wolf Sith. There's a couple of different options for that. It's obviously a PVC figure, so there's like a basic standard version, which I imagine is probably going to be around $90 to $100. The exclusive version you can only get from First 4 Figures, and that one is $120 It comes with a little bit more details on it. There's some extra swords. It's got Artorias' tombstone on it. But yeah, there's a little bit more details on that. And then they do a definitive edition, which is I think $250. And that one has an actual resin base, and it actually has a resin, also super deformed Oscar, Knight of Astoria, I think is pronounced, on the base. You know, a bit more detail, a bit more stuff, you know, a little bit more extra to it, make it stand out a little bit more in your collection. You know, they're all available for pre-order from First of Figures now, except for the regular version, which I think you can only get through third parties. And then we're going to wrap this up with Sideshow Collectibles. Now, they didn't really show anything this week. They did put up their Hulkbuster and Hulk maquette statue, part of their 1/5 scale Avengers Assemble lineup. That went up for pre-order, I think, last week. It's about $1,200. I think it looks really cool. I think Hulk's pose is a little bit janky. I don't like the way he's holding him like that instead of being outstretched. But, you know, it's just a picky personal preference. But from this week, we did actually get the full final reveal of Storm. I say full, it wasn't full. It's just, you know, upper 3/4 of her, and she's in her white or silver costume. She looks really good. I'll be very interested to see the complete reveal showing the base and what they're going to do to kind of show off her powers. I wonder if they're just going to go Danger Room the same way they kind of do with all of their XM lineups, whether we're actually going to get something which does show off her weather changing capabilities. So that's pretty much it for this week. There was a lot more than I thought there was going to be this week. Yeah, so that's them all. Let me know if there's anything that you're pre-ordering or thinking about picking up. Leave it down in the comments down below. And again, like I said, if you have enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Guarantee you, promise you, that the videos will be better in the future. Just brand new to this. It's been a little while since I've done this and this concept of video, so bear with me. And also, you know, I'm not surrounded by statues, so I understand a lot of people that, you know, they watch these statue channels. If they're not surrounded by statues, then you instantly think, you know, that they don't know what they're talking about. We do actually have statues and figures, but we're in the process of moving to a new home in the next couple of months. So a lot of them are in storage at the moment. Once we get moved and we actually get finally set up in the new house, I'll have a much nicer, cleaner setup. You'll actually be able to see some of the stuff that I actually have in my collection. So that's all for now. And like I say, I want to keep doing this weekly. I'm going to be doing this next week, hopefully, and I'll catch you then. See ya.